Den. I'm your host, SinDragonLord, and this is week number 4 of season 11 of the Global Pokemon Society Draft. I am your commissioner, your Phoenix Primals, aka SinDragonLord. And before I get started, we got merch, boys. All of your favorite coaches in the league have their own merchandise. The link to the online store will be in the description down below. So please support your favorite teams, your favorite coaches by buying their merch, because a portion of the proceeds will go to that coach. So please feel free to support them in any way you deem appropriate. They are really nice. I am wearing my jersey. It's really nice, super comfortable, easily breathable. I live in Arizona, so having breathable material is super nice, especially when it gets super hot and you're sweating a lot. So anyway, that out of the way, let's look over our opponents this week. We got the Tokyo Togekiss, who's rocking Chi-Yu, Goldango, Ribombee, Samurott, Clodsire, Mimikyu, Duraludon, Mismagius, Oricorio, Pom-Pom, and Morpeko. So she traded the Lavender Town Gengars, who did replace the Sin City Squirtles, who decided that due to personal reasons that they needed to discontinue the season, so Lavender Town decided to take over. And one of the first things that he did was trade her the Sin City's Goldango for her Landorus Therian. And she also traded her Cacturne for Morpeko, so she's got a Rapid Spinner now, which is nice. So, couple things. This team is really scary for me for a couple of different reasons. One, Chi-Yu. I am an Ice team who is pretty weak to that Chi-Yu, not gonna lie. Yeah, Galarian Slowking doesn't particularly enjoy it. All my Ice types don't particularly enjoy it. The one thing that I do have to potentially check this Chi-Yu is Booster Energy Iron Bundle, which will outspeed a timid Scarf Chi-Yu and knock it out with Hydro Pump, but we're also relying on Hydro Pump actually hitting its mark. So there's that, kind of 50-50 risk, because, if a move's not 100% effective, or 100% accurate, it's 50% accurate. So, flip of the coin, roll the dice there. Odds are even. But we also got Goldango, which is terrifying. Duraludon with a Violite and the ability to Terrasilize into a pure Steel type could be an issue. Mimikyu can be a scary sweeper, just because the Disguise does basically give you one free Swords Dance. So that can be really scary if it, snowballs out of control. Clodsire. So I'm an Ice team. It's not really that scary. The only thing that it has is the fact that with Unaware, it does have the ability to potentially check to Titan, and its special bulk is high enough to where it could potentially, wall Galarian Slowking and Yellow and Ninetales. Again, the only thing I really have that might do any sort of significant damage to the Clodsire would be the Iron Bundle again. The Iron Bundle probably have to do a lot of work this match. Yeah, that's all I really have to say about that. The only other problematic thing here is the Ribombee being able to set up Sticky Web, which will mess with my Slush Rush plans. Just because after a Slush Rush, we get outsped by base 100 speed for your Pokemon without a Scarf, which not great considering guess what Chi-Yu is? It's fucking base 100. So yeah, good shit. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into a team that we're going to be bringing against her. One moment, please. Okay, so nothing really too special to say about this Ninetales. It's pretty standard, the same Ninetales that we've brought every time. Nothing really to say about that. Then we got the Iron Bundle. Hydro Pump, Ice Beam, Freeze Dry, and Taunt. We brought Freeze Dry just because Samurott is there, and I didn't want Samurott to actually be able to wall me I mean, it could be Assault Vest, in which case we're going to have a bad time anyway, but at least I have something super effective on it rather than a bunch of resistance. I also threw Taunt on there, that way I could taunt the Rabombi before it had a chance to set up Sticky Web. So there's that also. And then, again, pretty standard EV spread with booster energy just to be able to outspeed basically any potential Scarfer that she will have. Then we got our handy dandy Great Tusk at Home Dawn fan. We got the heavy duty boots, Rapid Spin, Earthquake, Knockoff, and Stealth Rock. Knockoff was Ice Spinner when she had the Lander still, but since she switched to Goldango, Knockoff is going to be pretty important just because we're able to knock off items first of all, and we're able to hit the ghosts, like Miss Magius, who would be immune to Earthquake, for instance. Goldango, which takes super effective damage from both Knockoff and Earthquake, but we should probably get rid of a potential balloon. So being able to hit that on the switch will be nice. And, maybe knock off a Life Orb from Mimikyu or whatever it decides to run this week. So I just figured knockoff would be great. EV spread's a little interesting. Max HP, enough attack to knock out the Mimikyu with Earthquake after breaking the disguise, and then enough defense to take a few hits as well. Then we got good old Titan. Once again, in the snow, we are able to outspeed everything, including Scarf Chi. Sticky Whip could pose a problem, but I did also want some Bolt to be able to take some hits after I, do a belly drum. So that's pretty important. We went with Terra Fire, just because a couple of reasons. One, the Mimikyu could have Willow, and I could also get burned with the Chi-Yu as well. But being able to not only prevent myself from getting burned, but also resist Chi-Yu's Fire Stab, which is likely going to throw at me, is going to be pretty important. And then we have a new addition to our team, the Diplin, otherwise known as Applejack. And so, fun fact about Diplin is it's an Eviolite user that cannot have its Eviolite removed with like knockoff, trick, or anything like that. So it's a good bulky Terra user. Grass Dragon isn't terrible. It's only got like 1x4 weakness being ice, but you can Terra out of that with water or steel. This week I'm going with water just because it does resist the fire and it resists the steel of the Goldango as well. So I just figured that was the best Terra this week, and it also can subsequently hit the Chi-Yu with a Terra Blast Water and potentially get a knockout on that as well. So we'll see if Diplin's able to put in that work this week. And then finally, we got Galarian Slowking. This week we're going max special defense, a little bit of defense, and max HP, just because a lot of her offense I've noticed is physical, barring like the Mimikyu or potentially the Samurott, although she's been running it more special. So we'll see if she changes that up this week. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into the battle portion of this video right about now. All right, welcome to the battle portion. Once again, this is Tokyo versus myself, and we got a great Tusk at Home, aka Dawn Fan versus GU lead. Knowing that she's probably going to go for the KO here, I decided to, instead of set up Stealth Rocks, just get that Chi-Yu out of the way. Just because that could be a huge threat later on to my team. And then here comes Mimikyu. The Mimikyu is going to knock out the Dawn Fan with the Shadow Sneak, so unfortunately I'm not going to be able to get up my rocks this game. But here comes Ninetales to set up the screens, and then Mimikyu sets up a Sword Stance. So this is actually kind of a cheeky tech on her part, so I go for the Moonblast to break the disguise. Come to find out, this thing is a red card. So she prepped for a potential Titan setup sweep to be able to negate the boost. So good on her for that. I'm genuinely impressed. So I go in the Diplin here. This is a new addition to the team. I was trying it out. I figured that it could be a good Eviolite user that could potentially wall some things like I mentioned in the beginning of the video during the team analysis. I go ahead and go for the Terra Water here, hoping I can survive. I don't know if that crit mattered or not, but regardless, it might have, and that's a little disappointing because I was about to go for a recover. But regardless, here comes the Iron Bundle. You go for an Ice Beam, and it does over half. Hoping for a freeze, but doesn't quite get it. Iron Bundle is pretty physically bulky, so we're able to tank that, especially through the Aurora Veil, and then we're able to take it out with the subsequent Ice Beam after we take Shadow Sneak damage, excuse me. So here comes Rabambi, and I go for the taunt because I really don't want Sticky Web going up, but predicting that, I guess she went for Moonblast just to take out the Iron Bundle, but that's okay because I don't have to worry about Sticky Web moving forward, or at least I can dissuade it, so to speak. She goes for a U-turn going into Mismagius. And I go for a Chilly Reception. And I go right back into the Alola Ninetales since my screens have worn off. Because there's no webs up, I am faster than Mismagius, so the Shadow Ball isn't going to really fall too much. No Spit F drop, thankfully, so that's always nice. I go for a Blizzard here, does over half. So I know another one will take it out. Still no Spit F drop. Doesn't matter though because I'm still faster and a Blizzard will take it out right now. So pretty even back and forth so far. I believe she goes into Goldango here. Yep, she goes into Goldango here with the Air Balloon. Kind of predicted that. We go for a Blizzard just to knock off the Air Balloon. That way Titan can hit it with an Earthquake. But it does cost us the Alola Ninetales. So it does go down to a Make It Rain. So now we go into Titan here. I don't really want to take anything, so I try to go for the KO with Earthquake. Unfortunately, it's just shy of a KO. I don't know if that was a range or not. Goes for a Nasty Plot, but doesn't matter because I have the Ice Shard to take it out. So now we see her go back into... Ooh, we see her going to Samurott, actually. I go ahead and switch into Slowking Galarian because I don't think there isn't anything too much that this thing can hit me with. We still have 2 more turns of screens. But now I think we go for a Future Sight. Yeah, we go for a Future Sight. Now the screens have worn off and we don't have them the rest of the game. We're going to go for a Slack Off just to try to recover off some of the Hydro Pump damage. That is definitely 100% Specs damage. And now we're back up to full, so now we don't have to worry about too much from the Samurott just because of the Hydro Miss there. I think I'd go for a Sludge Wave here just to take it out. Actually, Specs Hydro Pump isn't doing too much. Isn't doing too bad of damage, to be honest with you. Almost a 2-hit KO. Then here comes Rabambi, and then Rabambi really can't touch Paul here, so that is going to be game 1. Eventually, she's going to go down to a Sludge Wave after some para hacks, but alas, we will eventually break through paralysis and we will get her down and we will take the first game 2-0. Let's go ahead and move on to game 2. All right, so we got Donphan lead against Rabambi, a little bit different than game 1. We see a Sticky Web, Stealth Rock exchange. Now she's got 3 ghost types, so I predicted her to switch into one of those. I was hoping for Mimikyu or Goldango, that way I could knock off the Air Balloon or the red card, potentially. Or just at least break the disguise. But she opts to not do that, so unfortunately she has won the mind games as far as that goes. I was not able to get off a Rapid Spin yet, which will hinder me quite a bit this game, as you will soon see. But here comes Goldango with that Air Balloon. Knowing that balloon is going to be a problem, I go ahead and set up a Future Sight just in case it comes in, because I know it'll be immune to Sludge Wave. As she sets up a Nasty Plot, I set up a Chilly Reception to go into Iron Bundle. So knowing that I need that balloon to break, I need to hit an Ice Beam, but unfortunately, after the Sticky Web, Goldango is faster than me and will take me down with a Make It Rain, but the Future Sight does hit it and pop the balloon, so effectively the same result, so it doesn't matter too much. Now we go for an Earthquake, which will be enough to take it out. So that's one threat out of the way. Um, Here comes the Chi-Yu. And I believe that after the Sticky Web drop, that it will be faster than, or that Chi-Yu will be faster than me. So I do go for a switch into Donphan to sack it. But unfortunately, she big brains me and switches right into Mimikyu for a free chance to set up Swords Dances, which is a problem. And unfortunately, I was not able to break Paralysis to break the Disguise, so we're up in for an uphill battle here. I switch into Jack, good old Applejack here, to try to stave off the offensive onslaught and try to break that Disguise the best I can. I'll admit I forgot about the red card here. I should have just went for the Giga Drain, but alas, yeah, I should just went for the Giga Drain to break the Disguise, forgetting the red card existed, and now my growth setup is basically neutralized. So now we go into Paul, and Paul is not going to take a Mimikyu onslaught too well, so I go right back into Applejack here. And Shadow Claw's not doing too much. Play Rough is doing just under half, so I get off a recover. I was hoping she was going to go for another Play Rough, and I would miss. But she ends up going for another Swords Dance, which means that Play Rough will definitely do a good amount of damage. She gets a Shadow Claw crit. I go for a Giga Drain just to get a little bit of chip on it. But unfortunately, Applejack is going to go down to a subsequent Shadow Claw. So Applejack not doing too much in its debut battle. And it looks like I'm about to get swept by this Mimikyu because I don't really have much for it. But the Play Rough misses, which is crucial because now the Blizzard is in fact able to take it out. If it weren't for that, I'm pretty sure the Mimikyu would have absolutely had my number. So RNGs is definitely looking out for your boys there on that one. Here comes Chi-Yu. We go back into Galarian Slowking to take the Overheat, but end up going for Flamethrower instead. And I assume that she's either Specs or Scarf since she continues going for Flamethrower instead of Dark Pulse. I'm not sure which. I don't think that's Specs damage. I think that's got to be Scarf. I think Specs would do a lot more. I'm not sure though. So now we are just kind of playing a game of out healing the damage from Flamethrower and just trying to get it knocked out with some decent HP left over. So now we go for another Sludge Wave to take out the Chi-Yu. Oh no, actually no, we don't. We go for a Chilly Reception. Excuse me. We go for another Chilly. We go for a Chilly Reception to go into Black Ice, and then we take it down with an Ice Shard, which, thank goodness, that's three very huge threats out of the way that we had to deal with in a lieu of different ways. So yeah, that was incredibly scary. The first half of this battle was very scary, having to deal with three very scary threats to my team. But now we look like we're in an okay position. It's 3-3, but her remaining Pokemon can't really even touch Galarian Slowking, to be honest with you, especially not this Rabambi. We do get a special attack drop, unfortunately, and we get struck by Paralysis. Been getting a lot of Parahacks this match, unfortunately, but that's the game. I guess it kind of makes up for that game-altering Play Rough miss, so there's that. Goes for another Moonblast. I think we break through here. Yep, we go for a Sludge Wave, which is enough to take out the Rabambi. And I believe, yes, Mismagius does come out next. The Life Orb Mismagius. We switch back into a Alolan Ninetales, just because we know we're able to take a couple of hits. And we get a Spinef drop, and it does over half. So unfortunately, that's not really too helpful, because we know we're going to go down to another one. So we go back into Titan. Future Sight does put it in range for an Ice Shard to take it out. And we're able to eat our Citrus Berry as well. Didn't get a single Belly Drum this game, but that's perfectly fine. We go for the Ice Shard here. It does take out the Mismagius. And now all we got left is the Choice Specs Samurott, which Galarian Slowking will be able to handle very nicely, especially considering that she went for the Grass Knot. I'm not sure why she went for Grass Knot, knowing that Galarian Slowking was still in the back, but that's basically a wrap. We go for a future sight. We're going to have a couple more turns of doing damage and breaking through paralysis. These particular para hacks aren't too relevant, so we go for a sludge wave. In comes the future sight, and that is enough for game. Thank you so much. That's the start of week 4. Catch you next time. Peace.